Wow, it seems like you think you're better than everyone now. Work, school, and training? Poor Genesis. You really must have no time for her. Hey Mel, now that you're so busy, you must be putting off your weight loss, right? These are some of the voices that have come out of the woodwork over the last 2 months. Today, we're going to expand on imposter syndrome origins and where that voice inside of us may be coming from. Spoiler alert, it didn't start with you. From mean girls in middle school or high school to the passive-aggressive coworkers or the controlling supervisor who makes you feel like you don't have a skill set, or maybe even that professor who unfairly grades your work to knock you down a peg. The voices and the influences we can keep change the way we see ourselves if we allow it. From fitness influencers to magazine covers, we've been taught in every single area of our lives to doubt ourselves and our choices. But today, we are going to spend a moment identifying those voices so we can negate their influence once and for all. Welcome to Episode 7 of Making Mel Health in the Hustle. This podcast is a place where motherhood meets muscle, ambition meets exhaustion, and I'm feeling it. And figuring out how to prioritize my health journey into the insanely beautiful chaos of a busy life is what I talk about. Some days it's going to look messy, and other days, flawless. But no matter what kind of day I'm having, I can assure you, I will tell you the truth and do my best to give you some good ideas and insight to help you prioritize your own journey. So let's get personal for a moment. This week, I'm finishing my first PhD course, and it looks like I might actually pull off an A. You'd think I'd be celebrating, right? But instead, I've been questioning myself all week because I made a very fatal mistake. I let other people's voices get inside my head for a moment. I've been working really hard the last 8 weeks on this course, and I've been doing it while continuing to eat the meals that I plan and trying to get some movement in. I have completely sacrificed any facet of a social life. I've missed events, and I'm not even sure if my TV is still working or not. My Facebook posts have been little to none. I have sacrificed a lot to do well, and instead of feeling proud, I began to replay other people's conversations inside my head. Recently, I had a friend say to me, I haven't seen you posting meals in a minute on Facebook. School must be having you eating out at the drive-thru, right? Instead of analyzing what I'm doing, I went immediately to the first time that I have ever used DoorDash, which was last Friday, when I ordered Chili's, and I ordered a sirloin steak and steamed broccoli with a mini molten lava cake, and it was delightful. And I had room for it in my eating budget because I knew I was going to be tired on Friday. I knew I wasn't going to want to cook, and I never order out. But for a minute, I allowed that noise to get inside my head. You know the voice, the one that tells you, this is too hard right now. Just take a break. The voices that make me wonder if I'm neglecting other important parts of my life. Or when a coworker recently joked with me, you know, if you keep this pace, you're going to burn out. Suddenly, my achievements start to feel like a burden. Now, I realize that my life is indeed crazy busy. My health journey can be labor intensive at certain times during my week. I agree that sometimes you got to take a break from the program if the way you approach weight loss is a program, but I don't live in that space. My health journey is good nutrition, move my body, drink my water, get my sleep, and fortify my mind. My health journey is a lifestyle, not a passing dessert. I don't stop breathing when it gets hard to breathe. I pause, draw a breath, slow down, but I keep it moving. And for me, my health journey is the same. Even when I'm injured or sick and movement is not an option, my food choices never change. See, I live my life in the 90-10. 90% of the time, I do all the things that are best for my body. I fuel it with high protein, high fiber, nutrition-dense whole foods. The fruit, vegetables, lean protein sources, beans, whole grains, low or no salt, and all the stuff that I eat is unprocessed as possible. The other 10% of the time, I don't have to care about my choices. But here's the kick. My choices are still pretty in line with the things that I typically eat because the things I used to love don't taste good to me anymore. And when I make choices that are not the best way to fuel my body tells me that those choices are not like what they used to be. If I indulge in something that has a high point or is not as nutritious, my portions are much less. And my choices are different. I'll choose the bakery cake or the Publix cake over the prepackaged options that are, Little Debbie or a Walmart brand or whatever they are. I would choose the Cheesecake Factory cheesecake, even though it's like 1,000,000 points, because it tastes lovely. But I really don't think I could eat a whole slice by myself anymore. See, I am no longer the same woman that I once was. So why in the world do I allow the voices of other people into my head? Let's take a minute and talk about how toxic behavior shows up in our life. The mean girls, the mean guys, the microaggression. Back in high school, 100 years ago, I wore metallic shirts and MC Hammer pants, and I thought I was the coolest ever. And one day, one of my peers said to me, I would never have the guts to wear something like that. And then I spent the rest of my day wondering if I'd made a mistake. Now, looking back, I don't know, MC Hammer pants may have been a mistake, but I loved it at the time, along with the hair that stood about 8 inches off of my head with the help of Aquanet. Mean girls and guys can make us feel like less than we are if we allow them. I have a coworker who stopped me in a hallway one day to tell me I was really smart, but my size would prevent me from ever being successful. Now, this was somebody who I liked, and it made me shrink back for a moment, even though I knew better. How about direct comments? For some reason, when you live your life overweight, people seem to feel like they have a right to speak on it. Have you ever been called lazy? Told you look fat? How about this one? You have such a pretty face, if only you lose weight. These comments are not meant to be kind. They are forms of sabotage. If we do not know who we are or understand our value, these kind of statements can knock the wind right out of us. The voices that you listen to and the people that you surround yourself with matters. People can greatly influence your mindset, your belief, and sometimes even your ability to stay the course. That is why the people you choose to go on your journey with are so important. The negative influences and mean girl mentality are coming, whether you want to deal with them or you don't. So you have to plan for those just as much as you do your workouts and your meal planning. If you aren't ready, and if you do not choose to surround yourself with people who encourage and nurture and support you, then your ability to succeed can be impacted. Choose wisely, because there are some influences that we just don't have choices about. So let's talk about the media. Social media reinforces imposter feelings. Whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, there were times when I used to compare my everyday life to someone's highlight reel. And let me tell you, anyone can make it look good for a moment. Now, there are some really wonderful fitness influencers out there, and then there are some who are really toxic. When people make fitness look easy, they're not being honest. Fitness can be really hard, especially when you have a lot of weight to lose. Walking into a gym and being the biggest one at the gym is effort all by itself. Talk about feeling like you don't belong. When I've gone into a gym, there are people there who do not appear to have weight problems. And that can make you feel like you don't belong and undermine your ability to work on yourself. But what we need to realize is, first, working to build your fitness takes a lot of effort, consistency, progression, and more effort. It's not easy, but it is important. And before you look at someone and decide, they don't have a weight problem, here I am, trying to work out at 300 pounds, and they're like 100. But you don't know where people started. You don't know if that's where they've always been, or if they worked, how hard they worked to get where they are. And you have to put things in context. I used to see fitness influencers posting the before and after shots and feel like I was stuck. But the truth is, the majority of us live in the messy middle. I'm juggling work, family, PhD, and self-care, and I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm sure that you are too. Our busy lives and incorporating our health journey may mean setting some extremely firm boundaries and blocking off time to get done what needs to get done. I have done a multiple 30-day challenges or joined a group or agreed to go to an event knowing that I did not have the time in my life and that it was not a priority for me. But I did it to keep the masses happy or to keep up. And a lot of times I ended up feeling bad about the situation or myself. Currently, I recognize that I don't have time for a lot of those things. I have to schedule. This is part of the difficulty of making my health journey fit. I have to get up and live the life that I'm designing, even when I don't want to. I also have to realize that I get to. So when the mean girls' voices are loud, how do you fight back? How do you not feel like an imposter? The first thing you do is you name that source. When you catch yourself feeling like a fraud, pause and ask, whose voice is this? Is it an old teacher? Maybe a critical parent or a coworker? Or is it a social media trend playing in your head? Naming it helps you separate their judgment from your reality. When you have awareness to identify where that negativity is coming from, then you can do something about it. And what do? How about flip the script? Instead of saying to yourself, I don't belong here, how about I'm trying to build something different, or I'm trying to build something real? Progress isn't always pretty, but it is always powerful. You are not always going to look like the part that you want to play, and that's okay, because you are there doing the things that you need to do for yourself. I would urge you to challenge the culture. When you hear toxic norms, whether it's body image, hustle, or what health is supposed to look like, call it out. Share your truth, even if your voice shakes and you don't believe it. When someone in the gym gives you a look to imply that you don't belong there, don't let their side eye run you out. You deserve to be there as much as anyone else. So you take up as much space as you need to, and you work until you're satisfied. Another option is to tag a friend. On Wednesday morning, I go to the Weight Watchers Sunshine Workshop with Coach BJ and Coach Vicky. They hail from the great state of Michigan. And when I'm there, I see several of my friends on camera, walking on their walking pad, using their stationary bikes, working out in the gym, or just dancing their heart out to the songs that Coach BJ plays. Friends can make the hard easier, and the kind of company that you choose to keep can either propel you or crush you. You get to decide. If you have a mean girl along for the ride, that might not serve you. The only Regina George that I want to see in my life is my stomach, because that's her name, and mean can definitely be her game. Another option is to model resilience. Show the people around you, your daughter, your friends, your listeners, your haters, that persistence matters more than perfection. Let them see you try. Let them see you stumble and even fall down. And then let them stand by watching you while you rise with your head high. Coach Valerie always says, lapse, but don't collapse. And you can live by those words. Take the moment that you need and then get back in the game. Remember, you don't have to be flawless to be worthy. You just have to keep showing up. You're not pretending, you're practicing. You're not faking it, you're facing it. And you're definitely not an imposter. Every single day that you wake up and try, you are living proof that growth is possible, even when the people in the world try to convince you otherwise. So the next time those voices creep in, or that mean girl says something meant to knock you down a peg, pause and remind yourself, those voices don't get to write your story because you're the only one holding the pen. Next time, we're going to talk about how to keep pushing when you want to quit. Until then, onward and upward, my friends.